Hi, my name is Kadir Rashid, and I'm a proclaimed atheist ever since I had the nerve to tell my folks at the age of 16. And if you're a atheist like myself, then you've probably heard, that you eat babies, or you worship Satan, or you're a really great lovemaker. And I've had all of those told to me, and with the exception of the last one, none of them are true. It's these misconceptions about atheists that I'd like to cover today and try to get to a better understanding of what it means to be an atheist and have to subscribe to an atheistic belief. First, let's look at the dictionary definition of atheist. According to the 2011 Merriam-Webster Dictionary, an atheist is one who believes that there is no deity. Now, this simply and straightforwardly means that we don't believe in any gods. It does not mean that we hate God. We can't hate something that we don't believe in. It doesn't mean that we worship Satan. It means that we do not worship or believe in any deity, whether that be Zeus or Vishnu or Satan. And it certainly does not mean that we see ourselves as above or equal to God. We don't believe in any concept of God. So we just specifically don't believe in any creator at all. He, she, or it. And it's this lack of belief that generally leads to the first common misconception about atheists, that atheism is a religion. One of my favorite sayings on the matter is that atheism is a religion like not playing golf is a sport. And I think it sums up the argument fairly well. Although it can be difficult for some to understand, not having faith in something is not a faith unto itself. It's simply an objective observation of the known facts and evidence, which often leads to the argument that atheists can't prove that God doesn't exist. True, no argument. Most atheists will agree that the proof or disproof of a God is nearly impossible. But that's not what the majority of atheists are trying to get across. We're not trying to disprove the existence of God. We're saying that God's existence is unproven, which is a completely different concept. As the noted scientist Carl Sagan once put so succinctly, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Say you claim that you've discovered Bigfoot. It's on you to prove that claim. The burden of proof is on yourself. It's not on me to disprove your claim. And that's just the same with any deity. The burden of proof is on the person making the claim, not the skeptical inquirer. So, now we've covered what atheists don't believe. But what do we believe? What keeps us getting out of bed every morning? Well, that's another common misconception, that subscribing to an atheist mindset means that life is pointless and meaningless. From conversations I've held with other atheists and from my own personal experience, we generally find that not believing in an afterlife just makes this life all that more precious and special. The here and now becomes that much more important. Since we know that no one gets out alive, it is all the more vital that we try to fill our moments with as much happiness and love and friends and family and food and peace as possible. And it's this concern with the happiness in the here and now that also debunks the myth that, we have no motivation for being good, that we have no sense of morality. We would argue that there is no need for a God to be good. The search for a happy, fulfilled life begins with the understanding of one's position in society and how to relate successfully to your fellow man. If you want to live a peaceful life, live peacefully. If you want respect, give it. If you don't want any harm to befall you, try not to harm anybody else. Virtue really is its own greatest reward. Of course, misery is going to befall us all. Bad things are going to happen to good people. But this doesn't make the atheists give up and give in, however, just as it doesn't most religious folk. However, that does lead me to that old chestnut, there are no atheists in foxholes, which is another way of saying that when an atheist's life is on the line, he's going to automatically, oh God, help me. Well, I really see that as being, nothing could be further from the truth. In my research, and I've actually come up with more anecdotal evidence showing that when stressful situations or life-threatening situations happen, a lot more people give up their religion, lose their faith. So, really, that really is kind of a false argument. Finally, I'd like to counter one of the greatest misconceptions to my mind, And that is the fact that atheists cannot be patriotic Americans and that America is a Christian nation. America is not a Christian nation. If it were, we'd be a theocracy and not the democratic republic that we are. Nowhere in the U.S. Constitution is God or Jesus even mentioned, and the closest thing that you'll find to the mention of God in any of our founding documents is in the Declaration of Independence, which states that there is a creator, not a specifically named God, and definitely not Jesus. Actually, the First Amendment explicitly states that Congress shall pass no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This means no national religions, including Christianity. What about the phrase under God in the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, that was added to the pledge back in 1954, long after our nation's founding, in a campaign started by the Knights of Columbus. And the motto, "In God We Trust," was not adopted as our official national motto until 1956. Not 1776, 1956. I'm proud to be an American. I am. I love my country with a fervor that most religious can't even touch. It's because I can be an atheist, or be gay, or be black, or be whatever I am, and not have to worry about trying to be brought down by the system that was so greatly installed by our founding fathers. And to hear it perverted, to be bent towards religion or religious means, really is a little disappointing and somewhat offensive. So, in closing, I hope this information has given you a little better understanding of your fellow atheists. We are your friends, your family, your neighbors, your doctors, nurses, policemen, firemen, actors, authors. We live by you and with you, and only ask for the same respect that you would expect. To the right to live in peace and not be marginalized by your beliefs. So, with wishes of love and peace, I'm Kadir Rashid, atheist.